She said no to $2,000. $2,000 she desperately needed. $2,000 that could have saved her from eviction, kept her lights on, fed her daughter for months. The stranger begged. His hands shook as he counted out the bills. "Please take it. You worked 4 hours in the dark for me." Beatrice Anderson pushed the money back across her sewing table. "I don't take money from desperate people." He stared at her like she was insane. Maybe she was. Her bank account had $283. Her electricity was getting shut off Friday. Her daughter needed new shoes. But something in his terrified eyes reminded her. Kindness isn't kindness if you charge for it. He left at 2 a.m. She went to bed believing she'd done the right thing. The next morning, 8 lawyers in black suits surrounded her shop, and nothing, absolutely nothing, would ever be the same again. But let's go back to that morning. Before the lawyers, before everything exploded. Before Beatrice Anderson learned that sometimes doing the right thing doesn't just feel good, it changes your entire life. The alarm screamed at 5:30 a.m. Beatrice slapped it silent and stared at the ceiling of her tiny bedroom above the shop. Another day, another fight to survive. She reached for her phone, opened her banking app. The number hadn't magically changed overnight. $283.47. Her stomach twisted. Rent was due in 4 days. $950. The electricity company had sent their final notice, $215 by Friday, or they'd cut the power. She did the math in her head for the 100th time. She was $881 short. 4 days to find it. Beatrice dragged herself out of bed. The apartment was cold. She kept the heat off to save money, wore a sweater indoors instead. In the kitchen, she opened the refrigerator. 3 eggs left, the heels of a bread loaf, some butter. Her daughter Nina was already awake, hunched over homework at the small table. "Morning, baby." Nina looked up. 14 years old, beautiful, brilliant. Wearing a sweater, too. She never complained about the cold. "Morning, Mom." Beatrice made scrambled eggs, split them onto 2 plates. She gave Nina the bigger portion. Always. Nina glanced at her mother's plate. "Mom, you didn't eat much." "I'm not that hungry. Big breakfast yesterday." A lie. She'd had crackers for dinner. On the counter sat a permission slip. Science camp. $350. Nina hadn't mentioned it. She knew money was tight. Next to the slip, Nina's worn sneakers. The toes were pushing through. Beatrice had noticed last week. New shoes cost at least $65, money she didn't have. She forced brightness into her voice. "How's school?" "Good. We're doing a robotics unit in engineering class." "That's wonderful, baby." Beatrice's heart ached. Nina wanted to be an engineer, needed to go to college. The college fund jar sat on the shelf, $1,100 saved over 3 years. At this rate, it would take 20 more years to afford even 1 semester. Nina left for school. Beatrice cleaned up, changed into work clothes, and went downstairs. Anderson alterations looked exactly like it had for 40 years. The same brick walls her mother had painted, the same wooden floors that creaked in the same spots, the same Singer sewing machine from 1984, older than Beatrice herself. She ran her hand over the machine, temperamental but loyal, just like her. On the wall hung a framed newspaper clipping, yellowed with age. The headline, "Local Seamstress Saves Wedding Day." The photo showed her mother, needle in hand, smiling. The article told the story. A bride's dress had torn 2 hours before the ceremony. Beatrice's mother had fixed it, refused payment. Said, "You need a miracle today, not a bill." Beatrice touched the frame. "I'm trying, Mama. I'm trying to be like you." But her mother had never mentioned how hard it was. How you could have character and still wonder how to pay rent. She unlocked the front door, flipped the sign to open, sat at her machine. The shop phone rang. Beatrice's chest tightened. She knew that number. Anderson Alterations. Ms. Anderson, this is Houston Electric. Your account is past due. I know. I'll have the payment Friday, I promise. The woman on the other end sighed. Ma'am, you've requested 2 extensions already. Friday is final. If we don't receive payment, service will be disconnected Saturday morning. I understand. Friday. I'll have it. Another promise she didn't know how to keep. She hung up, opened the cash register. $47 in bills, her revenue for yesterday. At this rate, she'd need a miracle. The morning brought her usual customers. Mrs. Lopez needed a dress hem. Normally $15, but Mrs. Lopez cleaned houses for a living. Paid in cash, she could barely spare. That'll be $10, Mrs. Lopez. The older woman's eyes glistened. You're too kind, mija. You've been loyal for years. It's the least I can do. Mrs. Lopez tried to add a $5 tip. Beatrice gently pushed it back. Keep it. Buy yourself something nice. After Mrs. Lopez left, Mr. Samuel came in. 82 years old, walked with a cane, lived on Social Security. He needed a button replaced on his only dress shirt. That'll be... Beatrice caught herself, looked at his kind, weathered face. No charge today, Mr. Samuel. Beatrice, you can't keep doing this. Doing what? Giving everything away. You got bills, child. She managed a smile. I'll be fine. Coffee? She poured him a cup from her personal pot. They couldn't afford much, but they could afford to be decent. Mr. Samuel studied her face. Your mama would be proud of you. My mama knew something I'm still learning. What's that? Beatrice threaded a needle, her hands moving with practiced grace. 40 years of this, since she was 7, learning at her mother's knee. She knew that if you can see your repair work, you didn't do your job right. And if someone can see your struggle, you didn't carry it with enough dignity. Mr. Samuel shook his head. That's a heavy load, baby girl. It's the only load I know how to carry. By 8 p.m., Beatrice had made $130. She deposited it mentally into the impossible math. Still $751 short. She had one job left. Mrs. Carter's dress alteration. $25. Already paid, already spent on last week's groceries. She'd finish it tonight. Go to bed. Wake up tomorrow. Figure something out. That was the plan. Until 8:58 p.m., until everything changed. The knock came at 8:58 p.m. Not a normal customer knock. Urgent. Almost desperate. The kind of sound that makes your heart jump. Beatrice looked up from Mrs. Carter's dress. Through the window, she could see rain starting to fall. The weather alert on her phone had warned about storms tonight. The knocking came again. Harder. She hesitated. A woman alone. Late at night. Bad neighborhood. Every instinct said lock the door and ignore it. But then she saw his face through the glass. A man, maybe early 50s, soaked through. No umbrella. And the look on his face, not angry, not entitled, terrified. She walked to the door, cracked it open with the chain still on. Please! His voice broke. I know it's late, I'm so sorry. But I saw your light still on and every tailor in the city is closed and I'm desperate. Beatrice studied him. Expensive suit, but the shoulder seam was completely torn. The lining hung out like a wound. His hands were shaking. What happened? I flew in for a meeting tomorrow, 8 a.m., the most important meeting of my life. My luggage got lost at the airport. I bought this suit emergency and I caught it on a car door and... He stopped, trying to steady his breathing. If I don't look professional tomorrow, 300 people will lose their jobs. Something in the way he said it. Not exaggerating. Not performing. just stating a fact that was crushing him. Beatrice looked past him. A black town car sat at the curb, engine running. A driver waited inside. She unhooked the chain, opened the door. "Come in." He practically stumbled inside, dripping rain onto her floor. "Thank you. God, thank you." She took the jacket from him, laid it under her work lamp. The damage was extensive. The entire shoulder seam had ripped, taking part of the lining with it. This wasn't a quick fix. This was 4 hours of careful reconstruction. "This is serious work," she said quietly. "Full seam reconstruction, lining repair, pressing. I'd normally charge $200, but at this hour, I'll pay anything." He pulled out his wallet, fat with cash, with 500, 1,000. "I have 2,000 right here in cash. It's yours, all of it, please." Beatrice stared at the bills in his hand. $2,000. Her mind went into overdrive. The math she'd been doing all day suddenly solved itself. Electricity, $215. Rent, $950. Groceries, $400. Nina's shoes, $65. Science camp, $350. Still have $20 left over. Her hand started to reach for the money, then stopped. She looked at his face. Really looked. His eyes were red. From rain? Or had he been crying? A photo had fallen from his wallet when he pulled out the cash. A teenage girl in a white coat. Medical scrubs, maybe. He scrambled to pick it up, protective. "My daughter, Caroline. She's in medical school." Beatrice thought of Nina upstairs, asleep, dreaming of college she couldn't afford. She thought of her mother's newspaper clipping on the wall. "You need a miracle today, not a bill." She pushed his hand back, the hand holding $2,000. "No." He blinked. "What? I can't take your money." "But you need to be paid. This is 4 hours of work. You said—" "You're desperate," Beatrice said softly. "You're scared. Your daughter's future might depend on tomorrow." She gestured to the shut-off notice on her desk. He could see it. She didn't hide it. "I need money. Desperately. But not like this." "I don't understand." Beatrice sat down at her machine, started threading a needle. Her hands knew the motion so well she didn't need to look. "My mama taught me something. She said when someone's drowning, you don't charge them for the rope. You throw it. Free." Gregory's eyes filled with tears. "Why? You don't even know me." "I know you're a father trying to save people's jobs. I know you showed me your daughter's picture like she's your whole world. I know you're standing in my shop at 9 p.m. in the rain because you're out of options." She looked up at him. "That's enough." "But the bill's on your desk." "I'll figure it out. I always do." She managed a tired smile. "Now take off that jacket. We're burning 4 hours of night." He sat down hard in the chair across from her, put his face in his hands. His shoulders shook. "Thank you," he whispered. "I don't deserve this." "Kindness isn't about deserving, Mr. Gregory. Just Gregory." "Okay, Mr. Gregory. Now tell me about this meeting while I work." Outside, the storm intensified. Thunder rolled. The lights flickered once. Beatrice lit 2 candles just in case. She'd done this before. Hurricanes, blackouts, late nights when the power company shut her off. She could work in the dark if she had to. For the next 4 hours, neither of them knew that this moment, this choice, would change everything. But it would. The needle moved through fabric like a promise being kept. Beatrice's hands worked with the kind of precision that comes from 40 years of practice. Remove the damaged stitching, carefully. 1 thread at a time. Don't rush. Rushing ruins everything. Gregory watched from his chair, mesmerized. "You make it look like surgery." "It is surgery," Beatrice said without looking up. "Just on fabric instead of people." She examined the lining. Cheap thread on expensive fabric. That's why it had failed. Someone had cut corners on a $1,000 suit. Whoever made this used the wrong thread. That's why it ripped so easily. Gregory leaned forward. Can you fix it? I can fix anything. The question is whether it'll hold. She selected a spool from her collection. Heavy-duty polyester. The good stuff. But with the right materials, it'll be stronger than new. 9:47 p.m. 3 hours and 13 minutes until she had to be done. Outside, the rain became a downpour. Thunder cracked loud enough to rattle the windows. Gregory flinched. This storm, it'll pass. They always do. Beatrice's needle never stopped moving. Now tell me about this meeting. What's so important? He was quiet for a moment. Then, it's a merger. My company with another. $800 million. Beatrice's hands paused for just a second. 800 million. She couldn't even imagine that much money. If it goes through, 3 factories stay open. 300 people keep their jobs, keep their insurance, keep their homes. And if it doesn't? They close. Everyone gets laid off right before the holidays. Beatrice resumed stitching. So tomorrow isn't about you. It's about them. Yes. His voice cracked. But if I walk in looking like I can't even keep my own suit together, why would they trust me to keep a company together? Because appearance isn't everything. In my world, it's almost everything. She glanced up at him. Then your world needs better priorities. Gregory laughed. Actually laughed. The sound surprised both of them. You're right, he said. You're absolutely right. 10:15 p.m. The lights flickered. Once, twice, then died completely. Darkness swallowed the shop. Oh no, Gregory started. Drawer on your left, Beatrice said calmly. Candles. Matches too. He fumbled in the dark, found them, lit 6 candles. The warm glow filled the small space. Beatrice was already repositioning her work under the candlelight. Been through this before. Hurricane Rita, Hurricane Harvey. Can't let a little blackout stop progress. How can you even see? My fingers remember. She threaded the needle by feel, continued sewing. Your eyes adjust. Give it a minute. Gregory watched her work by candlelight, the needle catching the flame's reflection with each pass. Her face was completely focused, peaceful even. How long have you been doing this? He asked quietly. Since I was 7. Mama taught me. She learned from her grandmother. That machine. He gestured to the singer. It's older than both of us. Beatrice smiled, patted it like a pet. 41 years old. Still runs perfectly. They made things to last back then. Things and values. Your mother. She taught you more than sewing, didn't she? Beatrice's hands slowed. She taught me that every stitch is a promise that you care, that you see the person who'll wear this, that you respect them enough to do it right. She looked at the newspaper clipping on the wall, barely visible in the candlelight. See that article? That was Mama. Wedding day, 1998. The bride's dress tore 2 hours before the ceremony. Mama fixed it. Worked 3 hours straight. The bride tried to pay. Mama refused. Why? Because the bride was crying. Because it was her wedding day. Because some moments are bigger than money. Gregory was quiet. Then, she sounds like you. I'm trying to be like her. Some days I succeed. Some days I wonder if I'm just being stupid. You're not stupid. You're extraordinary. Beatrice shook her head. I'm just doing what's right. That shouldn't be extraordinary. It should be normal. Be 11:30 p.m. Halfway done. The shoulder seam was reconstructed, reinforced. Now for the lining. Gregory's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, silenced it immediately. It buzzed again, and again. "You can answer," Beatrice said. "I won't be offended." It can wait. This can't. But she'd seen the caller IDs. VP Operations, Board Chairman, Executive Assistant. Not colleagues, people who reported to him. "Mr. Gregory, just Gregory." "Gregory, you're not just an employee at this company, are you?" He met her eyes. "No, but does it matter?" "I suppose not. A person in trouble is a person in trouble. Doesn't matter if they're the janitor or the CEO. His expression shifted. Surprise. Respect. "You really mean that?" "Of course I do." Midnight. The power came back on. The sudden brightness made them both squint. Beatrice held up the jacket under the fluorescent lights, inspected every inch. The repair was invisible. Perfect. Structural. "1 more hour," she announced. Gregory stood, stretched, walked to her side. "Can I help?" "Hold this section taut while I secure it." He did. Their hands worked together, his following her quiet instructions, holding fabric, passing scissors, adjusting the lamp angle. "I haven't made anything with my hands since I was a kid," he said softly. "What did you make?" "Model airplanes with my grandfather. He was a factory worker, made steel. Honest work. He used to say, 'If your name's on it, make it worthy of your name.'" Beatrice smiled. "Mama said the same thing." They worked in comfortable silence. Two strangers who'd found an unexpected rhythm. A temporary partnership born of necessity but feeling like something more. 12:45 a.m. Gregory told her about Caroline, 22 years old, Johns Hopkins, pre-med, works 2 jobs while studying. "She refused my help, said she wants to earn it herself. She sounds like someone I'd like to meet. She'd love you. She believes in hard work, in dignity, in doing things right." He paused. "She's better than me. She learned from you?" "No, she learned despite me." Beatrice glanced at him. "Give yourself more credit." 1:03 a.m. Final stitches. Beatrice's concentration was absolute, every movement deliberate. This wasn't just a repair anymore. It was a promise kept. She held up the jacket, inspected it under bright light, moved it, stretched the fabric, checked the seams. Done. Gregory put it on. The fit was perfect. He moved his shoulders, no pulling, no stress. He studied himself in the small mirror on her wall. "I can't even see where it was torn." That's the point. Good repair work is invisible. He touched the shoulder seam with something like reverence. "This is better than when I bought it. I reinforced the weak points, used proper thread. It won't fail again. You didn't just fix it, you improved it." Beatrice was already cleaning her workspace, putting away thread, organizing needles. "That's what you do when you care." Gregory checked his watch. 1:16 a.m. He'd have to leave soon. Get a few hours of sleep. Shower. Prepare for the meeting that would decide 300 people's futures. He reached for his wallet. And what happened next, what Beatrice said next, would echo through both their lives forever. Gregory pulled out his wallet, the same thick stack of bills from earlier. "You saved my life tonight." He counted out bills. 10, 20, $2,500 bills. $2,500 for 4 hours of emergency work. He laid the cash on her work table. More money than Beatrice had seen in one place in years. Her eyes locked on it. Her brain did the math automatically. Every bill paid. Every problem solved. Nina's shoes, the science camp, Groceries for 2 months. Her hand moved toward the bills, fingers almost touching them, then stopped. She pushed the money back across the table. No. Gregory stared. What? I can't take it. But you earned it. 4 hours, through a storm, by candlelight. His voice rose with confusion. This is fair payment. It's not fair. Beatrice kept her hand on the bills. You're desperate. You're scared. I don't take money from people who are drowning. But you need it. He gestured at the shut-off notice on her desk. I can see your bills. I do need it. Desperately. Her voice was steady. But if I take it, what I did stops being kindness. It becomes a transaction. What's wrong with a transaction? Nothing. Usually. She met his eyes. But you came to my door at 9 p.m. in the rain because you'd run out of options. You were terrified. You trusted me. She pushed the money firmly into his hands. If I take this, that moment becomes different. It becomes me taking advantage of your fear. And I won't do that. Gregory's hands shook. Tears ran down his face. Nobody's ever... He couldn't finish the sentence. Beatrice felt her own eyes sting. Take that money. Put it toward your daughter's education. Go save those 300 jobs. That's enough payment. People like you don't exist. We exist. We're just usually too tired for anyone to notice. He wiped his eyes. Can I at least leave my contact information? In case you or your daughter ever need anything? He pulled out a business card, then stopped. Put it back. Instead, he tore a piece of paper from her notepad, wrote, Gregory, and a phone number. Just in case. No pressure. Beatrice took the paper, folded it. Thank you. Outside, the Blacktown car's engine started. The driver had been waiting over 4 hours. A man in a suit stepped out with an umbrella. Mr. Ashford, we should go. You need rest before the board meeting. Mr. Ashford. Beatrice noticed the name but was too exhausted to think about it. Gregory nodded. 2 minutes, James. He turned back to Beatrice, extended his hand. She shook it. His grip was firm, grateful. He held on for a long moment. I'll never forget this, he said. Ever. Go save those jobs, Gregory. He smiled through tears. I will. Because of you. At the door, he paused. What's your full name? Beatrice Anderson. Beatrice Anderson. He repeated it like memorizing it. Thank you for reminding me what matters. The car door closed. The town car pulled away into the night. The rain had stopped. Just wet streets reflecting streetlights. Beatrice locked the door, stared at her empty work table where $2,500 had been minutes ago. Her hands were shaking now. The adrenaline is fading. The reality setting in. She'd just turned down enough money to solve every problem in her life. Was she crazy? Was she stupid? She didn't know anymore. She climbed the stairs, checked on Nina, still sleeping peacefully, collapsed into bed. 1:47 a.m. Tomorrow she'd wake up, face the same bills, the same impossible math, the same struggle. But tonight, she'd kept a promise to her mother. She'd thrown someone a rope without charging for it. That had to count for something. She fell asleep believing she'd done the right thing. She had no idea that in less than 9 hours, 8 lawyers would surround her shop, and nothing would ever be normal again. The alarm went off at 7 o'clock a.m. 4.5 hours of sleep. Beatrice's body ached everywhere. Her fingers were stiff. Her back hurt from hunching over the machine. But she got up, made Nina breakfast, forced a smile. You look tired, Mom. Late customer. I'm fine, baby. Nina left for school. Beatrice went downstairs, flipped the sign to open, made coffee, sat at her machine. A normal morning, just another day. Except it wasn't. 9:45 a.m. A black SUV drove slowly past her shop. Once, twice, then parked across the street, engine running. 2 people inside, just watching. Beatrice noticed but didn't think much of it. 10:15 a.m. A different black car. A woman in a sharp suit got out, walked to Beatrice's window, stared inside, pulled out her phone, made a call while looking straight at Beatrice, then drove away. Mr. Samuel looked up from his crossword. That was strange. Very strange, Beatrice agreed. Her phone rang. Unknown number. Anderson Alterations. Is this Beatrice Anderson? A man's voice, professional, cold. Yes, who's calling? Please confirm your business address. Beatrice gave it, confused. What is this about? You were open last night? Around 9 p.m.? Her stomach tightened. I had a late customer, why? Thank you for confirming. Click. Beatrice stared at her phone. What was that? 10:42 a.m. Nina called, voice scared. Mom, there's a weird car outside school. A man came to the office asking about me. The secretary called security. Beatrice's heart dropped. What did he want? Questions about our family, our address? Mom, I'm scared. Stay inside. Don't leave with anyone but me. Beatrice called the school. The secretary confirmed it. A man in a suit. Had credentials from a law firm. What law firm? Ashford something. Ashford. Like the driver had called Gregory last night. Mr. Ashford. Beatrice's hands started shaking. 10:47 a.m. All 3 vehicles' doors opened at once. 8 people stepped out. Dark suits, briefcases, moving toward her shop in formation. Beatrice backed away from the door. Mr. Samuel stood. Beatrice, I'm calling 911. The lead man reached her door, opened it. Ms. Beatrice Anderson? Her voice trembled. Who are you? He pulled out credentials. Richard Sterling, Senior Legal Counsel for Ashford Industries. We need to speak with you immediately regarding last night. I just fixed a suit. Beatrice's voice cracked. I didn't do anything wrong. His expression was unreadable. We know. That's exactly why we're here. Close your shop, now. Richard Sterling's voice left no room for argument. Beatrice looked at her customers. Mrs. Lopez clutched her purse. Mr. Samuel had 911 dialed on his phone, finger hovering over the call button. I'm not closing anything until you tell me what's going on. A woman stepped forward, tailored suit, confident. Ms. Anderson, I'm Melanie Brooks, VP of Communications. What we need to discuss is sensitive. We need privacy. Privacy for what? Am I being sued? No. Richard's face remained stone. But we need to talk about Gregory Ashford and what you did for him last night. Gregory, the man with the torn suit, the desperate father, the one who'd offered her $2,000. What had she done wrong? I helped someone. That's not illegal. It's not. Melanie's voice softened slightly. But it is unusual, especially when that someone is Gregory Ashford. Another lawyer opened a briefcase, pulled out a tablet. Ms. Anderson, do you follow business news, financial markets? Beatrice's patience was fraying. I barely have time to sleep. No. That explains it. He turned the tablet toward her. Forbes magazine cover. The face she'd spent 4 hours with last night stared back at her. The headline, Gregory Ashford, the reluctant billionaire reshaping American manufacturing. Below it, $4.2 billion net worth. Beatrice's vision blurred. She reached for the table to steady herself. That's him. That's Gregory. Gregory Ashford, Richard confirmed. CEO and founder of Ashford Industries. The room tilted. Mr. Samuel grabbed her arm. Sit down, honey. She collapsed into a chair. 4.2 billion? Melanie showed another image. Gregory at the White House, shaking hands with the president. Another image. United Nations Summit. Another. Receiving a humanitarian award. No. Beatrice's voice was faint. No, that can't be. He was just a man. Just a scared father with a torn suit. He was both, Melanie said gently. Richard pulled out more documents. Ashford Industries, 47 manufacturing facilities across North America, 12,000 employees, 3.8 billion in annual revenue. Thomas Bennett, the third lawyer, added, medical equipment, automotive parts, aerospace components. 3 of the top 5 hospitals in America use Ashford products. Beatrice couldn't breathe. He was in my shop, crying, showing me pictures of his daughter. Caroline Ashford, Melanie confirmed. Johns Hopkins, pre-med, full scholarship from the Ashford Foundation. But he said she works 2 jobs. She does, by choice. She refused his money, wanted to earn it herself. Beatrice's mind raced backward. The expensive watch, the private driver, the phone calls from board chairman and VP operations, the business card he'd almost shown her. The meeting this morning, she whispered. He said 300 people would lose their jobs. The merger with Halston Medical Group, Thomas confirmed. $800 million. 3 facilities on the line. He wasn't exaggerating. Richard showed her a news article. Ashford Industries Board approves historic merger. 300 jobs saved. The timestamp, 10:00 a.m. this morning. He did it, Beatrice breathed. He saved them. Because of you. Melanie's voice was firm. I just fixed a suit. No. Richard leaned forward. You did something much more important. He showed her an email. From Gregory Ashford. To Executive Leadership Team. Sent 3:17 a.m. The subject line, What I Learned Last Night. Beatrice's hands shook as she read. Last night, I met someone who reminded me what leadership actually means. A woman who had every reason to say no, said yes. Who had every reason to take money, refused it. Who chose dignity over survival. I've spent 25 years building this company. Tonight, a seamstress taught me more about character than I learned in all those years. Tomorrow, I walk into that boardroom remembering, it's not about the bottom line, it's about the people. Gregory. Tears blurred Beatrice's vision. He wrote this? About me? He sent it to 200 executives at 3 a.m., Melanie said, before the board meeting. He told them your story. Thomas pulled up board meeting minutes. Direct quote from the chairman. Mr. Ashford's composure and clarity were remarkable. When challenged on the merger's risks, he spoke about leadership, character, and responsibility in ways I've never heard from him. Another board member noted, Richard added, something changed in Gregory. He seemed human. Beatrice was crying now. I was just trying to help. That's exactly what changed him, Melanie said. You treated a billionaire like a person. You saw his fear, not his bank account. You gave him what money can't buy, dignity. Richard showed another screen. Twitter. Multiple trending hashtags. The suit that. Saved jobs. 47,000 tweets. Billionaire. And seamstress. 89,000 tweets. News headlines scrolling. Mystery seamstress saves Ashford deal. Houston Tailor becomes overnight sensation. The woman who said no to $1,500. How does anyone know about this? Beatrice whispered. Gregory told the board, Thomas explained. Someone leaked it to the press. It went viral in 2 hours. Beatrice stood up too fast. The room spun. This can't be real. I'm nobody. He's a billionaire. This doesn't make sense. Her knees buckled. Melanie and Mr. Samuel caught her. They lowered her back to the chair. Melanie pulled out smelling salts. Beatrice came 30 seconds later. "I'm sorry, It's a lot to process," Melanie said kindly. "Why are you here?" Beatrice's voice was small. "Why did you bring lawyers?" Richard and Melanie exchanged glances. "Because Gregory Ashford is on his way here, right now. He'll arrive in 10 minutes. And Ms. Anderson," Thomas added, opening another briefcase full of documents. "He has a proposal for you." "What kind of proposal?" Richard spread papers across her work table. Architectural plans, legal contracts, financial projections. "One that will change your life, if you'll let it." Beatrice stared at the documents. Her name was on them. Beatrice Anderson, Director of Tailoring Services. Numbers she couldn't comprehend. Diagrams of her shop, expanded, renovated. "What is all this?" "Your future," Melanie said softly. "If you want it." Outside, a car pulled up, more expensive than the others. Security personnel stepped out first, then Gregory Ashford, the man she'd spent 4 hours with last night, the man she'd refused money from, the billionaire she'd treated like any other desperate person who needed help. He walked toward her door, and Beatrice realized nothing would ever be the same again. Gregory Ashford walked through the door, the same man from last night, but different. Security flanked him. An assistant held an umbrella despite no rain. Reporters shouted from behind police barricades. "Mr. Ashford, who is this woman?" "Gregory, is the merger story true?" He ignored them, walked straight to Beatrice. "Beatrice, thank you for seeing me." She stood on shaking legs. "You're really him, the billionaire." "I'm really him." He gestured to the lawyers. "Can we have the room? Just us?" Richard hesitated. "Sir, the contracts can wait, please." The lawyers stepped out. Mr. Samuel started to leave. "Stay," Beatrice said. She needed someone on her side. Gregory sat across from her, eye level, equal. "I owe you an apology. For the circus, for the shock, for not telling you who I was." He paused. "But if I had, would you have treated me the same?" She thought about it. "No, I would have been nervous. Different." "Exactly. I needed someone to see me, not my money. Just me. You did that." "I just fixed a suit." "No, you fixed me." "You fixed..." He pulled note cards from his pocket. His handwriting covered them. "My presentation notes from this morning, written at 4 a.m. after leaving you." He spread them on the table. Character over capital. Dignity over dollars. People before profit. "Every argument came from our conversation," Gregory said. "When the chairman challenged me, I didn't cite data. I told him about you." Beatrice's breath caught. "You told them?" I said, "Last night someone gave me everything when I had nothing to offer. She trusted me. Risked her time for 300 people she'll never meet. If she can do that, we can do this." His voice cracked. The room went silent. Then the chairman voted yes. Tears streamed down Beatrice's face. 300 families still have jobs because you said no to money. Mr. Samuel wiped his eyes. Gregory took a breath. "Last night, you gave everything and asked for nothing. Today, I'm asking you to accept something. Not payment. Partnership." "Partnership?" He called the lawyers back. They spread documents across her table. Architectural renderings, legal contracts, financial projections. "What is this?" Beatrice whispered. Gregory stood beside her. "Ashford Industries has 12,000 employees. Not one has access to quality tailoring. I want to change that. I want you to lead it. Lead what? Ashford Employee Services, Tailoring Division. You as director and 30% equity partner. 30%? You're not my employee. You're my partner. Melanie showed renderings. We preserve Anderson alterations. Your mother's machine stays. Her photo stays. The name stays. But we expand. 6 workstations. Modern equipment. Training center. Thomas added, investment, $2.1 million. Beatrice sat down hard. $2 million? For our flagship, Gregory said. Richard continued. You hire 10 local tailors. Starting salary, $45,000 with full benefits, health insurance, retirement, paid training. Melanie showed projections. Year 3, 150 jobs nationally. Thomas pulled another document. Every Saturday, free tailoring for job seekers, interview suits, professional alterations, funded by Ashford Foundation. Beatrice stared. Free services? Like you did for me, Gregory said. You taught me. That's when it matters most. Richard laid out financials. Your salary, $120,000 annually, plus profit sharing. Projected year 3, $80,000 to $150,000 additional. Beatrice couldn't process it. I make $31,000 now. Gregory knelt beside her chair. There's more. The Ashford Foundation Scholarship. Full ride for Nina. 4 years. Any university. Beatrice couldn't speak. Tuition, room, board, stipend? Up to $320,000. No strings. Your daughter shouldn't work 2 jobs while studying. Beatrice sobbed. My baby. She'll become the engineer she's meant to be. Mister. Samuel squeezed Beatrice's shoulder. Gregory continued. After 6 months, we replicate this. Every Ashford facility gets a tailoring center. You oversee all. 15 locations within 3 years. Thomas showed more projections. Your equity stake, estimated $4 to $7 million by year 5. Beatrice stood, paced. This is too much. I fixed 1 suit. You fixed a man, a company, 300 families. I was just being decent. And decency is so rare that it changed everything. She faced him. I'm not qualified. I've never run anything big. You've run this shop for 12 years through the hardest economy. You've maintained quality while barely surviving. That's exactly who should lead this. I don't have a degree. You have mastery, integrity, vision. Beatrice looked at the papers. Her name is everywhere. Can Nina be here before I decide? Of course. 20 minutes later, Nina burst in, saw the crowd, her mother's tears. Mom, what's wrong? Beatrice explained everything. Nina's eyes grew wider. Mom, this is your dream. Grandma's dream. It's scary, baby. Nina took her hands. You worked 4 hours in the dark for a stranger. You can do anything. Beatrice looked at Gregory, at the contracts, at Nina's hope. She picked up the pen. Her hand shook. You're not signing your life away, Gregory said. You're signing into it. Beatrice Anderson signed. Once, twice, 10 times. Richard smiled. Welcome to Ashford Industries, Director Anderson. Gregory pulled out a small box. Professional sewing kit. Gold scissors. Finest thread. Card inside. Every master craftsperson deserves master tools. Gregory. Beatrice held the scissors, cried. It's too beautiful. You're too talented to struggle anymore. Let me fix that. She looked at Nina, at Mr. Samuel, at Gregory. At her future, it is impossible and real. She'd said no to $2,000 and gained everything. 6 months later, the neighborhood didn't just change, it transformed. Month 1, construction. The first day, construction crews arrived at 6 a.m. Beatrice stood on the sidewalk, coffee in hand, watching them work. They preserved the original brick facade. Her mother would have wanted that. But inside, everything expanded. Walls came down, space doubled. Light flooded in. Her mother's Singer sewing machine got a place of honor. A custom glass case, illuminated. A brass plaque beneath it. Emma Anderson, Master Seamstress, 1952-2019. Her hands built this legacy. Beatrice touched the glass. Can you see this, Mama? 8 new industrial machines arrived. A steam pressing station. A fabric library with hundreds of materials. Training desks. Computer stations for orders. It looked like a real business now. Professional. Substantial. But it still felt like home. Month 2. The hiring 10 positions posted. Within 72 hours, 847 applications. Beatrice interviewed 50 people personally. Asked each one, "Why do you sew?" The answers told her everything. She hired 10. Maria Rodriguez, 58. Laid off factory worker. 30 years of experience. Hands that knew fabric like Beatrice's did. James Washington, 26. Fashion design degree. Couldn't find work. Desperate for a chance. Dorothy Carter, 61. Retired alterations specialist. Came out of retirement to be part of something meaningful. 3 single mothers, 2 veterans, 1 formerly incarcerated man trying to rebuild his life. All local, all skilled, all hungry for dignity. Training lasted 8 weeks. Beatrice taught her mother's techniques. Invisible hems, reinforced seams, quality over speed. But more than technique, she taught philosophy. Every garment has a person inside it. Respect the person. Graduation day, families attended, certificates handed out, tears everywhere. Maria hugged Beatrice. I thought I was too old to start over. You gave me my life back. Month 3. Grand opening. 400 people showed up. The block couldn't contain them. Police closed the street. Gregory cut the ribbon alongside Beatrice and Nina. Cameras flashed. News crews recorded. Beatrice's speech was short. My mother taught me 3 things: excellence, kindness, persistence. This shop is all 3. Gregory added, Beatrice didn't just fix my suit, she fixed my perspective. The first week, they served 89 customers. Revenue, $12,000. Reviews flooded social media. Best alterations in Houston. They remember your name. It's not a shop, it's a family. Month 4, Free Services Program. The first Saturday, 23 job seekers arrived. People who needed interview clothes but couldn't afford alterations. Beatrice and her team worked 12 hours straight. No breaks, pure joy. They fitted suits, fixed hems, adjusted shoulders, gave styling advice. Each person left looking professional, confident, ready. Marcus, a veteran, stood in front of the mirror. His suit fit perfectly now. He stood taller. I forgot what pride felt like, he whispered. Janelle, a single mother, tried on her altered blazer. I have a law firm interview on Monday. Now I look like I belong there. By month 4, 87 people served free. 61% got jobs within 30 days. The data was undeniable. Good clothes opened doors. Month 5, Nina's future. The acceptance letter came from Howard University. Full ride. Pre-med track. Beatrice and Nina cried in each other's arms for 20 minutes. Grandma would be so proud of you, Mom. She'd be proud of us both, baby. The Ashford Foundation Scholarship, $320,000, 4 years covered. Books, housing, everything. Nina would become a doctor without debt, without struggle. The cycle was breaking. Month 6, National Expansion. The Philadelphia location opened at Ashford Industries headquarters. Beatrice cut another ribbon. The press covered it. Employees cheered. 8 new local hires trained by her Houston team. The model replicated perfectly. 6-month numbers for Houston flagship. Revenue, $240,000. 40% above projections. Free services, 247 people helped. 68% employment rate. National expansion planned. 6 more locations within 12 months. Beatrice's total earnings, $180,000 in 6 months. More than 5 years of her old income. But the money wasn't the transformation. The impact was 23 new jobs created in surrounding businesses. The coffee shop hired 3 people. The bookstore expanded. The boutique was renovated. Her block was alive again. The landlord who'd threatened to sell partnered with Ashford to preserve community character instead. Gentrification was happening, but now it included the community, not erased it. Media coverage exploded. Forbes profile, 30 people changing business for good. Mayor's Award, community leadership. Governor's letter of commendation. Beatrice was uncomfortable with attention. I just wanted to help people. But she had, in ways she'd never imagined. One act of kindness, one refusal of money, had changed hundreds of lives. 6 months to the day, Tuesday night, 8:45 p.m. Beatrice finished paperwork at her desk. Profit reports, staffing schedules, her new reality. The shop was quiet, just her and the hum of machines. Rain started outside, gentle, familiar. 8:47 p.m., the exact time Gregory had knocked 6 months ago. She smiled at the coincidence. Then came the knock. 8:58 p.m., urgent, desperate, exactly like that night. She opened the door. A young woman stood there, mid-20s, soaked, terrified eyes. Please, I know you're closed, but I'm desperate. Beatrice's breath caught. I have a job interview tomorrow. First real opportunity in 3 years. I'm a teacher. Trying to be? Words tumbling out. I bought this suit at Goodwill. The bus door caught my skirt. She showed the tear. Side seam. Fixable. I can pay $40. It's all I have. Voice breaking. I need this job. Kids need teachers who understand them. Beatrice felt tears forming, history repeating. Come in. She examined the tear. 30 minutes of work. How much? Nothing. It's free. What? No, I can pay. I know, but you shouldn't have to. Beatrice threaded her needle. Someone invested in me once. I'm keeping the circle going. The woman cried. While working, they talked. Her name was Sarah. Wanted to teach 3rd grade. Had a teacher who changed her life. Ms. Washington. Beatrice's hands paused. Washington? Dorothy Washington. She saw something in me nobody else did. Dorothy Washington works here. She's one of my seamstresses. Sarah's face lit up. That's my grandmother. They hugged, both crying. She talks about you every Sunday, Sarah said. Says you're changing the world. I'm just fixing clothes. No, you're fixing lives. 30 minutes later, the skirt was perfect. Get that job. Then help someone else someday. That's how you thank me. I promise. Sarah left into the rain. A car pulled up. Gregory stepped out. Their weekly coffee routine. Saw that? Old habits? Best habits. They sat with coffee. Comfortable silence. You know what's wild? Beatrice said. What? If I'd taken your money that night, this would have ended there. A transaction. You'd feel better. I'd pay bills. We'd forget each other. But you said no. I said no, and that no became the biggest yes of my life. Gregory smiled. Mine too. Outside, the rain stopped. Stars breaking through clouds, the shop sign glowed warm. Her mother's machine is visible through the window. Legacy continuing. "Think Sarah will get the job?" Gregory asked. Beatrice smiled. "I fixed her skirt. She'll do the rest." That's how it works. That's exactly how it works. Beatrice didn't wait for permission to be kind. She didn't calculate the return on investment. She just said yes when everything in her life screamed no. And it changed everything. Not because she was special, because she chose to be decent. You have that same power. Right now. Today. Someone in your life is desperate, needs help, needs a yes when everyone else says no. Your kindness might not make headlines, but it might change a life. Beatrice said no to $2,500 and gained millions, not in money, in meaning. What could you gain by saying yes to kindness? If this story moved you, share it. Someone needs to hear it today. What would you have done in Beatrice's position? Tell us in the comments below. Like this video if you believe kindness still matters. Subscribe for more stories where ordinary people do extraordinary things. Because the world changes one choice at a time. One stitch at a time.
At Black Voices Uncut, we don't polish away the pain or water down the message. We tell it like it is because the truth deserves nothing less. If today's story spoke to you, click like, join the conversation in the comments, and subscribe so you'll be here for the next Uncut Voice.